Good afternoon all. Welcome to the lecture of measure and integration. Okay, so in last lecture we have seen what is a Hahn decomposition theorem. What is Hahn decomposition theorem? What is its statement?
For any given measure space, it can be decomposed into two sets which are disjoint and their union forms the universal set.
Universal set and they are disjoint. पण त्यांच्यावर रिस्ट्रिक्शन होती ना ए आणखीन बी काय होते हे कोणतेही
पॉझिटिव्ह
सेट
होते.
ए पॉझिटिव्ह होता दोन्हीपैकी एक पॉझिटिव्ह आणखी एक दोन एक दुसरा निगेटिव्ह ओके
Yes, sir.
that one is nothing but the Hahn decomposition theorem. Okay. Now we have to see whether Hahn decomposition of any set X, that is our universal set X with respect to sign the measure gamma is unique or not. Okay. Hahn decomposition of X is not unique with respect to a given sign measure. Okay, if it is not unique, then we have to give an example. In that, we get more than one Hahn decompositions for a given set X with respect to a given sign measure gamma. Okay, we will give an example. See, let capital X be any set which contains an elements A, B, C, D, E, and F, and curly B is nothing but power set of X. And we know that power set of X is always a sigma algebra. Therefore, this curly B is a sigma algebra. Then the ordered pair XB is called measurable space, which implies capital X comma curly B is a measurable space. Measurable space. Okay, as this one is a measurable space, then define one function gamma, which is from this sigma algebra curly B to R pi gamma of A is equal to 1, gamma B equal to -1, gamma of phi equal to 0, gamma C is also 0, gamma C, that is standard measure of C equal to 0, standard measure of D is equal to 0, standard measure of E equal to -2, and standard measure of F is equal to 2. And in last lecture we have already proved this one is a standard measure, gamma is a standard measure. Here we have defined one function gamma, which is from curly B to R, in which gamma of phi equal to 0 and gamma C gamma D is also 0, gamma P is nothing but 1, gamma B equal to -1, and gamma E is -2, and gamma F will be 2. Then we have proved that this gamma is a standard measure on a given sigma algebra curly B. Okay, so then gamma is a standard measure. Sign the measure. Okay, so here we have one set X and there is one standard measure gamma. Then by Hahn decomposition theorem, if gamma is a standard measure on a measurable space XP. Okay, so here gamma is a standard measure and there is a measurable space XP. Now Hahn decomposition theorem says that there is a that is there exists a positive set A and negative set B such that union of these two sets will be equal to our X, and these two sets are disjoint, that is positive set A and negative set B are disjoint. There is no element common in between these two sets, and that is we have to find. Now here the elements of X are nothing but A, B, C, D, E, and F. Take A as a set which contains the elements A and F, that is take this one as A1, and B1 is a set which contains the elements, remaining all elements, that is B, C, D, and E. Okay, now these are the two sets in which A1 is a positive set, since standard measure of small a is 1 and standard measure of B is, so standard measure of F will be equal to 2. Therefore, and each A and F is a measurable. Therefore, here A1 is a measurable set since it contains two elements. It is union of these two singleton sets, that is A and F. Therefore, A1 is measurable, and every measurable subset of A1 has a non-negative measure, that is measure of A and F is greater than 0, that is measure of every measurable subset of A1 is positive, then by definition of positive set, A1 is a positive set, and B1 contains all those measurable subsets of X such that signed measure of each element of this B1 will be less equal by 0. Since C and D has signed measure 0 and signed measure of B and E is negative, therefore every measurable subset of B1 has a non-positive measure. Then by definition of negative set, this B1 is a negative set. So here A1 and B1 are positive and negative set respectively. Okay. So here we get two sets in which first one is a positive and second one is a negative. If we take the union of these two sets and A1 union B1, A1 union B1 is equal to A, F, B, C, D and E, and this one is nothing but our capital X. Therefore we get A1 union B1 is equal to X and A1 intersection B1 equal to 5, since there is no common element in between these two sets A1 and B1. Therefore here for a given signed measure gamma, we have two sets A1 and B1 in which A1 is positive and B1 is negative, such that A1 union B1 is X and A1 intersection B1 is equal to 5. Then this A1 and B1 are the Hahn decompositions of X with respect to a signed measure gamma. Then by Hahn decomposition theorem, set A1 B1 is a Hahn decomposition of X, with respect to signed measure gamma. So here we get one Hahn decomposition, but we have to show that Hahn decomposition of X is not unique. Then we have to give at least one Hahn decomposition other than this A1 B1. Okay, let us take A to be a set. Let A2 be a set which contains the element A, C and F, and B2 is a set which contains the element B, D and E. Now here,
Sir,
A2,
hello sir.
yes, yes.
Tanuja Ningani wants to join the meeting. Tanuja Ningani.
Sang. Okay. So A2 be a set which contains three elements ACF and B2 contains BDE, and each element each set belonging to this A2. Measure of A is greater than 0, measure of C will be signed measure of A is greater than 0, signed measure of C will be equal to 0, signed measure of F is again greater than 0, and B2 contains P and U have negative measure and D has a signed measure will be equal to 0. Therefore every measurable subset of A2 has a non-negative measure and every measurable subset of B2 has a non-positive measure. Then by the definitions of positive and negative sets, A2 and B2 are positive and negative sets respectively. So here A2 and B2 are positive and negative sets respectively. Okay, and whose union is our total X, and A2 union B2 is nothing but X and A2 intersection B2 is equal to 5. So here the set X has two Hahn decomposition with respect to a given signed measure gamma, and from that we say that the Hahn decomposition of a set X is not unique, that is need not be unique. It may be unique, it may be one or more than one. It depends on the given set X and our positive sets A and B. Okay. Now Hahn decomposition of X is unique except for null set. If there are null set, then the Hahn decomposition is unique, otherwise it is not unique. Hence the statement will be a Hahn decomposition of X is need not be unique. For null set it is unique, and other than null sets it may not means it is not unique. Okay, let us prove this one. Hahn decomposition is unique except for null sets. Okay, so our Hahn decomposition will be unique for null set only. That is we have to do. Solution. Let AB and A1 B1 be Hahn decompositions of X. Decompositions of X. Then by theorem, capital X is nothing but A union B, that is A1 union B1, and A intersection B equal to phi, and also A1 intersection B1 is equal to phi. Since as AB and A1 B1 are the Hahn decompositions, then by Hahn decomposition statement, the union of these two sets is nothing but X, and similarly union of these two sets again X, and these AB are disjoint and A1 B1 are disjoint, and here A and A1, A comma A1 are positive sets, and B and B1 are negative sets. Okay. Now consider A minus A1. A minus A1. A minus A1 means it is nothing but the A intersection A1 complement. And in Hahn decomposition theorem, we have proved that if A is a positive set, then its complement is nothing but the negative set, which implies A intersection A1 complement. As here A1 B1 is the Hahn decomposition, then A1 complement is nothing but the B1. Okay, so A minus A1 is nothing but A intersection B1, which implies this A minus A1 is a subset of both the sets A and B1. And A minus A1 is also a subset of B1, but we know that A is a positive set and B1 is a negative set. As A is a positive set, and here A is positive set, it means it is measurable. A1 is a positive set, it means again it is measurable. As A1 is measurable, then its complement is measurable, and A intersection A1 complement is also measurable. Therefore, A1 minus A1 is a measurable subset of A, and A is a positive set. Then by the definition of positive set, every measurable subset of a set A has a non-negative measure. Then by this property, signed measure of this A minus A1 is greater or equal by 0. And as B1 is a negative set and A minus A1 is a measurable set, then by definition of negative set, every measurable subset of B1 has a non-positive measure, which implies signed measure of A minus A1 is less equal by 0, which is from the definition of positive and negative set. Positive and negative set. Okay. Now, signed measure of A minus A1 is greater or equal by 0, and signed measure of A minus A1 is less equal by 0, which implies that signed measure of A minus A1 must be equal to 0. Okay. Similarly, we can prove signed measure of B minus B1 is also 0. Similarly, we can prove instead of A minus A1, we have to take B minus B1. We can prove signed measure of B minus B1 is equal to 0. Okay, now let E be any measurable subset of A minus A1. Let E be any measurable subset of A minus A1. Okay, that is E is a subset of A minus A1, which implies E is subset of A. Minus of A1 is nothing but A intersection A1 complement. That is, this can be written as A intersection B1, which implies E is a subset of A and E is a subset of B1. But A is a positive set. As A is a positive set, then every measurable subset of it has a non-negative measure, which implies signed measure of E is greater or equal by 0, and B1 is negative, which implies signed measure of E is less equal by 0, which implies signed measure of E is equal to 0. So here we have taken one measurable subset of A minus 1 and its measure will be equal to 0. As here E is any arbitrary set, and for as it is true for arbitrary any set E, then for each measurable subset of A minus A1, the measure of that set will be equal to 0. Therefore, from this we say that every measurable subset of A minus A1 has a measure 0. As every measurable subset of A minus A1 has a measure 0, then by the definition of null set, this A minus A1 becomes a null set, which implies A minus A1 is a null set. Okay. As standard measure of B minus B1 is also 0. If we take any E is a measurable subset of B minus B1, again measure of that E will be equal to 0 with respect to set B minus B1. Therefore, B minus B1 is also a null set, and B minus B1 is also a null set. So here, if we take the two Hahn decomposition of a set X, then we get the null set, and from that we say that there is no difference between A and A1 and B and B1. So if we take two Hahn decompositions per X, then they will be unique if and only if they are on the null set only, which implies if A and B and A1 B1 are two Hahn decompositions of X, then A minus A1 and B minus B1 are null sets. As they are null set, then A is nothing but A1 and B is nothing but B1. Null set. From that we say that the Hahn decomposition is unique except for the null set. That is, it is for null set only it is unique, otherwise it is not unique, which implies Hahn decomposition is unique except for null set. Null sets. Okay, now there is one note. Let gamma be a signed measure on measurable space X comma curly B, and AB be a Hahn decomposition of X on decomposition of X if N belonging to curly B is a null set with respect to a signed measure gamma, then A minus N comma B union N is also a Hahn decomposition of X. Okay, this one says that if gamma be any signed measure on a measurable space XP and AB be corresponding Hahn decomposition of a set X with respect to our signed measure gamma, and if suppose N belongs to curly B be a null set. Null set means it is both positive and negative with respect to a signed measure gamma. That is, every measurable subset of this N has a measure will be equal to 0. As this N will be a null set, then A minus N comma B union N is also a Hahn decomposition of X. That is, A minus N union B union N is equal to X, and A minus N intersection B union N is equal to 5. And this will be obviously true since N is a null set. Null set means every measurable subset of N has a measure 0. जर तुम्ही A minus N मध्ये काय काय आहे आपल्याकडे null set चे काही एलिमेंट आहेत असं समजू आपण A मध्ये, त्यातून तुम्ही N ते जर काढून टाकले तर काय राहील, A मध्ये फक्त असे मेजरेबल सबसेट राहतील ज्यांचा मेजर हा पॉझिटिव्ह आहे तर काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही, आपल्याला हा पॉझिटिव्ह सेट हा तसा राहील. बी मध्ये काय केलंय, जर अगोदरपासूनच नल सेट असेल तर काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही, बी इटसेल्फच राहील. जर बी मध्ये अगोदर फक्त नेगेटिव्ह मेजरचे जर मेजरेबल सबसेट असतील तर युनियन एन केलं तर काय फरक पडेल, फक्त असे त्यात दोन्ही मिळून असे एलिमेंट मिळतील की ज्यांचा मेजर हा नॉन पॉझिटिव्ह मिळेल. म्हणजे बी माझा ऑब्विसली निगेटिव्ह सेट राहील, हा माझा ए मायनस एन हा पॉझिटिव्ह राहील, बी युनियन एन हा निगेटिव्ह राहील. दोघांचा युनियन जर केलं तर परत एक्सच मिळेल. आणखीन दोघांचा इंटरसेक्शन केला तर त्यामध्ये काही एलिमेंट मिळणार नाही. याचा अर्थ हा परत माझा हा डिकम्पोजिशन होईल. ठीक आहे का?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ओके. नल सेट मध्ये काय एलिमेंट असणार आहेत असले तरी असे सबसेट असतील त्याला की ज्यांचा मेजर झिरोच आहे. जर ए मध्ये ते असतीलच, जर नसतीलच तर काही फरक नाही, ए मायनस एन तुम्हाला एच मिळेल. जर काही एलिमेंट आहेत समजा नल सेटचे, म्हणजे असे मेजरेबल सबसेट आहेत यांचे ज्यांचा मेजर हा झिरो आहे, ते जर तुम्ही काढून बी मध्ये घातले तर काय फरक पडणार आहे. बी मध्ये जर ऑलरेडी ते असतील तर बी इटसेल्फच राहील. जर बी मध्ये नसतील तर बी मध्ये काय काय राहील, असे सबसेट राहतील ज्यांचा मेजर झिरो आहे, आणखीन ऑलरेडी तुम्हाला निगेटिव्ह मेजर असलेले आहेत. दोन्ही मिळून माझा परत हा निगेटिव्ह सेटच राहील. जरी तुम्ही एन चे एलिमेंट इकडून जरी काढला तरी एन मध्ये तुम्ही ऍड केलाय, याचा अर्थ युनियन मध्ये ते ऑब्व्हियसली राहतील, जितके आहेत तितके राहतील आणि तुमचा एक्स मिळेल. कारण ऑलरेडी एबी हा डिकम्पोजिशन आहे, म्हणजे त्यांचा युनियन एक्स आहे. जर इथून काढून इथं घातला तरी टोटल युनियन एक्सच राहील. काही एलिमेंट असलेले फक्त इकडून तुम्ही तिकडे काढलेत, इथं फक्त कसे एलिमेंट राहतील, ज्यांचा मेजर पॉझिटिव्ह आहे तेच फक्त इकडे आहेत आणि ज्यांचा मेजर लेस इक्वल बाय झिरो आहे ते इकडे आहेत. याचा अर्थ दोघांमध्ये काही एलिमेंट कॉमन मिळणार नाही तुम्हाला, मेजरेबल सबसेट कॉमन मिळणार नाही. याचा अर्थ त्यांचा इंटरसेक्शन फाय असेल, म्हणजे हा परत तुमचा हा डिकम्पोजिशन ऑफ एक्स असेल. अप टू नाउ एनी डाऊट?
हॅलो सर.
काय म्हणलं?
सर वर स्क्रॉल करा थोडंसं.
काय आवाज येत नाही तुमचा?
सर वर स्क्रॉल करा थोडंसं. सर ते स्टेटमेंट हार्ड डिकम्पोजिशन इज नॉट युनिक एक्सेप्ट फॉर नल सेट हे ट्रू आहे का? तुम्ही युनिक लिहिला प्रत्येक.
एक्सेप्ट फॉर नल सेट म्हणजे फक्त नल सेटच्या बाबतीत ते युनिक आहे. नल सेट सोडून जर तुम्ही बाकी कुठलेही सेट घेतला तर ते युनिक नाही.
हो सर, मग तुम्ही प्रत्येक ठिकाणी युनिक लिहिलात, नॉट युनिक पाहिजे ना तिथे.
काय हार्ड डिकम्पोजिशन ऑफ एक्स इज नॉट युनिक विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू अ गिवन साइनड मेजर. कोणतेही आर्बिट्ररी सेट घेतले तर ते युनिक नाहीच आहे. फक्त युनिक कुठे आहे ते फक्त एक्सेप्ट फॉर नल सेटला. एक्सेप्ट फॉर नल सेट याचा अर्थ फक्त नल सेटच्या बाबतीत ते युनिक आहे, बाकीचं कुठेही युनिक नाहीये. एक्सेप्ट फॉर नल सेट असं होत, याचा अर्थ असं होत नाही की ते नल सेटला फक्त युनिक नाही आहे आणि बाकीच्या ठिकाणी युनिक आहे.
तर मग तिथं नॉट युनिक यायला पाहिजे ना.
कुठं?
हार्ड डिकम्पोजिशन इज नॉट युनिक एक्सेप्ट फॉर नल सेट असं यायला पाहिजे ना.
हार्ड डिकम्पोजिशन इज नॉट युनिक
एक्सेप्ट फॉर नल सेट.
याचा अर्थ काय होतो?
नल सेटला सोडून ते दुसऱ्या कोणासाठी युनिक नाहीये.
मग याचा अर्थ काय होतो? हार्ड डिकम्पोजिशन इज युनिक एक्सेप्ट फॉर नल सेट. याचा अर्थ काय होतो? हार्ड डिकम्पोजिशन ही युनिक आहे कोणासाठी? फक्त नल सेट साठी.
सर एक्सेप्ट फॉर नल सेट लिहिलं तुम्ही, म्हणजे नल सेट सोडून बाकी सगळ्यांसाठी ते युनिक आहे असं होईल ना याचा अर्थ.
एक्सेप्ट फॉर म्हणतोय मी, एक्सेप्ट फॉर सांगितलंय मी. एक्सेप्ट कोणासाठी? नल सेट साठी.
सर मग बाकीच्या सगळ्यांसाठी युनिक आहे असं होईल ना त्याचा अर्थ.
हो, तसं कसं होईल हो?
तर तुम्ही स्टेटमेंट वाचा की.
आणखीन कोणाला डाऊट आहे का या स्टेटमेंट मध्ये? हार्ड डिकम्पोजिशन युनिक आहे, इथपर्यंत कोणाला डाऊट आहे? पहिल्या 4 वर्ड मध्ये हार्ड डिकम्पोजिशन युनिक आहे. मी पुढे काय सांगणार आहे? कोणासाठी युनिक आहे ते सांगितलं. एक्सेप्ट कोणासाठी? नल सेट साठी युनिक आहे.
सर तुम्ही फर्स्ट रिझल्ट मध्ये प्रूव्ह केलं ना सर, डिकम्पोजिशन इज नॉट युनिक विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू अ गिवन साइन मेजर.
हा नाहीच आहे की, मग फक्त नल सेटच्या बाबतीत आहे.
सर मग इथं लिहिले की हार्ड डिकम्पोजिशन इज युनिक एक्सेप्ट फॉर नल सेट.
एक्सेप्ट फॉर नल सेट म्हणजे नल सेट साठी फक्त युनिक आहे, तेच तर सांगायला तुम्हाला. बाकीच्या सगळ्या ठिकाणी तो कुठे युनिक नाही. या एक्झाम्पल मध्ये काय घेतला? इथं कुठे नल सेट घेतले होते का तुम्ही? एक एक्स घेतला तर माझ्यासाठी 2 पॉझिटिव्ह सेट, 1 निगेटिव्ह सेट मिळेल, ज्यांचा युनियन तुम्हाला एक्स मिळेल, ज्यांचा इंटरसेक्शन फाय असेल. जर तुम्हाला तसं जर डाऊट असेल तर मग याला अगोदर घ्या. की फक्त हा डिकम्पोजिशन युनिक जो आहे तो अगोदर सांगा, फक्त नल सेटच्या बाबतीत हा युनिक आहे म्हणून सांगा, बाकीच्या ठिकाणी तर कुठेही युनिक येणार नाही. नीड नॉट बी स्टेटमेंट आहे ती, शुअर नाहीये. ही नीड नॉट बी ची आहे म्हणून तुम्हाला अगोदर सांगितलं होतं, फक्त इथं नॉट युनिक काय घेतलं होतं, असं एक्झाम्पल आहे म्हणून घेतलं होतं. ऍक्च्युली हे असं आहे, हा डिकम्पोजिशन इज नीड नॉट बी युनिक. नीड नॉट बी युनिक याचा अर्थ दोन्ही येतात ना. नीड नॉट बी म्हणजे असेल किंवा नसेल. असेलची केस कधी आहे, फक्त जर नल सेट असतील तर. फक्त हा एक्झाम्पल इथे असं घेतला होता ज्यामध्ये मी तुम्हाला साइन मेजर युनिक नाहीये हे दाखवणार होतो, म्हणून इथे नॉट लिहिलं होतं. याचा अर्थ हे नाहीये की ते प्रत्येक वेळेला नॉटच आहे. क्लिअर होतंय का नाही? थोडं विचार करण्यासारखं काय आहे विचार. डिकम्पोजिशन डिफाईन केला, आता राहता राहिले तसे एबी एबी हे युनिकच मिळतात का? या एक्झाम्पल मध्ये काय सांगितलं तुम्ही, 2 मिळाले ना मला, 2 पेक्षा 2 का 3 मिळेल, अजून एक डिफाईन करा तुम्ही. तिसरा A3 इक्वल टू काहीतरी घ्या, 3 घ्या यामध्ये, ए सी डी, आणखीन एफ घ्या बी मध्ये, B3 मध्ये परत 2 राहिलेले घ्या ज्यांचा निगेटिव्ह मेजर आहे बी, आणखीन ई. तिसरा हा डिकम्पोजिशन मिळेल मला, दोघांचा युनियन एक्स मिळेल, दोघांमध्ये एक एलिमेंट कॉमन नाही, इंटरसेक्शन 5 मिळेल. इथे मला एकापेक्षा जास्त मिळालेत ना हा डिकम्पोजिशन, एकापेक्षा जास्त मिळाले तर मी म्हणू शकतो का हा युनिक आहे म्हणून. या केसमध्ये युनिक नाहीये म्हणून इथे नॉट युनिक लिहिलं होतं मी. पण नल सेटच्या बाबतीत मला युनिक मिळते याचा अर्थ टोटल स्टेटमेंट काय होईल, हा डिकम्पोजिशन डिड नॉट बी युनिक फॉर गिवन सेट एक्स विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू साइन मेजर गॅमा. ठीक आहे का?
हो सर.
ही स्टेटमेंट जितकं मला इंग्लिश येते त्याच्यानुसार तर करेक्ट आहे. जर तुम्हाला चेंजेस करायचे असतील तर तुम्ही करू शकता, पण ही करेक्ट आहे. हा डिकम्पोजिशन इज युनिक कोणासाठी, नल सेटसाठी युनिक आहे.
सर मध्ये एक्सेप्ट लिहिल्यावर ते सुटते ना सर.
तर एक्सेप्टचा अर्थ त्याला सोडून असं येते ना.
तुम्ही सगळेजण मिळून बहुतेक ही स्टेटमेंट म्हणजे तुमच्यामध्ये काय असायला पाहिजे, हा डिकम्पोजिशन
इज
Is
नॉट
not unique.
युनिक एक्सेप्ट फॉर नल सेट.
मला तर नाही वाटत ही, तरी तुम्हाला जी योग्य वाटते ती ठेवा तुम्ही. माझ्यामध्ये तरी ती सुरुवातीचीच करेक्ट आहे. आणखी करायचं असेल तर तुम्हाला चेंजेस करू शकता, तुम्हाला जसं लक्षात राहील तसे ठेवा. Okay, now next will be a Jordan decomposition theorem. Before that, we have to require one definition. Let us see what are the mutually singular measures. Okay, we have to see what are the mutually singular measures and the measures, and for that we require at least 2 measures. Let gamma 1 and gamma 2 are measures on a measurable space xb. Measures on capital X comma curly b. Then Okay, let gamma 1 and gamma 2 be any two measures on a measurable space xb. Then these two measures, gamma 1 and gamma 2, then gamma 1 and gamma 2 are said to be mutually singular if there are disjoint measurable sets A and B such that capital X is nothing but union of these two sets and gamma 1 of A equal to gamma 2 of B equal to 0. चेंजेस करू शकता, गॅमा 1 ऑफ बी इक्वल टू गॅमा 2 ऑफ ए इक्वल टू 0 असेल घेऊ शकतो. ओके, सो एनी टू मेजर्स गॅमा 1 अँड साइन मेजर नाही बरं का, गॅमा आहे म्हणून साइन मेजर समजू नका. लेट गॅमा 1 अँड गॅमा 2 बी एनी टू मेजर्स means they are non-negative are two measures on a measurable space xb, then these two measures gamma 1 and gamma 2 are said to be mutually singular with respect to a standard measure gamma if they are disjoint measurable sets A and B such that union of these two sets is nothing but yes, as they are disjoint then intersection must be equal to phi and gamma 1 of A equal to 0 and gamma 2 of B equal to 0, and or we can take gamma 1 of B equal to 0 and gamma 2 of B equal to 0, then these two measures gamma 1 and gamma 2 are said to be mutually singular and they are denoted as gamma 1 is mutually singular to gamma 2. Okay, we can denote this by this symbol. Okay, now let us see what is the Jordan decomposition theorem.
सर गॅमा 1 गॅमा 2 साइंड मेजर नाहीत का?
मेजर्स आहेत फक्त. Jordan decomposition theorem. Okay, C statement. Let gamma be a signed measure on a measurable space capital X comma curly b, then there are mutually singular measures gamma plus and gamma minus on xb such that this gamma is nothing but gamma plus minus gamma minus, and moreover there is only one pair of such mutually singular measures. That is, we have to prove its uniqueness. Mutually singular measures. Okay, so here we have just given that gamma be a signed measure, and from that we have to prove that there exists the pair of mutually singular measures, that is gamma plus and gamma minus on capital X comma curly b, that is measurable space, which is from the definition of mutually singular measures. These gamma plus and gamma minus are the measures on measurable space xb. Here, as we have gamma be a signed measure, then we have to prove the existence of pair of mutually singular measures gamma plus and gamma minus on a measurable space xb such that the difference of these two measures is nothing but gamma, that is gamma can be expressed as a gamma plus minus gamma minus, and after that we have to prove that there is a unique pair of such mutually singular measures. Okay, so first we will prove the existence of such measures gamma plus and gamma minus. After that we will check whether they are mutually singular. If they are mutually singular, then we will prove its uniqueness. Okay, first we will prove existence of such two measures gamma plus and gamma minus. As here gamma is a signed measure which implies gamma assumes at most one of the value which is plus infinity or minus infinity, which is from the definition of signed major. Okay. Gamma assumes at most one of the value plus infinity or minus of infinity. Now let us define two functions gamma plus and gamma minus on a measurable space, that is sigma algebra curly B. Define gamma plus from curly B to R star. This R star means it is nothing but the closed interval 0 infinity union infinity, and gamma minus is also a function from curly B to R star defined by gamma plus of any set E is nothing but gamma of E intersection A, and gamma minus of E is nothing but minus of gamma of E intersection B, which is for any measurable set E. So here we have defined two functions, gamma plus and gamma minus, having domain will be sigma algebra curly B. Okay, and which are defined by gamma plus of E is nothing but gamma of E intersection A, and gamma minus of E is nothing but minus of gamma of E intersection B, where A is a positive set and B is a negative set. Okay, now here gamma is a signed major. As gamma is a signed major, then it have both values, plus or minus. Okay, so gamma plus of E, as it is intersection of A, that is it belonging to the elements which are belonging to both E and A is a positive set. As A is a positive set, then it contains a measurable set of signed major greater or equal by 0. Therefore gamma plus of E is always non-negative, since it is a subset of A, and every measurable subset of A has a non-negative major since A is a positive set. Similarly, every measurable subset of this A intersection B has a non-positive major, that is either it is 0 or it is negative. But here we have negative. If it is equal to 0 and multiply by -1, it is 0 only. If it is negative into -1, it is positive. It means gamma plus and gamma minus are always non-negative. ठीक है क्या ये?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here gamma plus and gamma minus are non-negative set functions. Non-negative set functions. So they are just set functions. Now we have to check its whether they are major or not. And gamma plus and gamma minus are said to be major. Already we have its domain will be sigma algebra. It means collection of measurable set. Therefore, there is no need to prove its domain will be a sigma algebra. Since as curly B is capital X comma curly B a measurable space, then curly B is already our sigma algebra. So it remains to check two properties of the major, that is gamma. If any major mu is said to be a major if it holds the two conditions, measure of phi will be equal to 0 and it is closed under countable attitude. That property just we have to check. So first we will check gamma plus of phi will be equal to 0 or not. Consider gamma plus of phi. Now by the definition of gamma plus, this one is nothing but gamma of phi intersection A, and which is equal to gamma phi intersection A will be phi, and as gamma is a signed major, then gamma of phi will be equal to 0, and gamma minus of phi is equal to minus of gamma of phi intersection B, which is equal to minus of gamma of phi. Again gamma is a signed major, which implies it is equal to 0. So gamma plus of phi and gamma minus of phi both are equal to 0. Now let EI be a sequence of disjoint measurable sets. Measurable sets. Now we have to check whether gamma plus and gamma minus are closed under countably additive property. So consider gamma plus of union over I running from 1 to infinity EI, and we have to prove it is equal to summation over I running from 1 to infinity gamma plus of EI, which is nothing but, by definition, gamma plus of E is nothing but gamma of E intersection E. Therefore this is nothing but gamma of union over I running from 1 to infinity EI intersection set E. As there is no term of I in this A, then there is no effect on this union on this A. Therefore this can be written as gamma of union over I running from 1 to infinity EI intersection E. Okay, now we know that gamma is a signed major. As gamma is a signed major, then it is closed under countably additive, which implies this one is nothing but summation I running from 1 to infinity gamma of ei intersection a. So which is nothing but summation I running from 1 to infinity gamma of ei intersection e. By the given definition, gamma of ei intersection a is nothing but gamma plus of ei. So here gamma plus of union over I running from 1 to infinity ei is equal to summation I running from 1 to infinity gamma plus of ei, which implies gamma plus is closed under countably additive. Similarly, we can prove gamma minus of union over I running from 1 to infinity ei is nothing but summation I running from 1 to infinity gamma minus of ei, which implies gamma plus and gamma minus both are countably additive. Yes, gamma plus and gamma minus both are countably additive. Okay, as they both are countably additive and signed major, sorry, gamma plus of 5 will be equal to 0 and gamma minus of 5 will be equal to 0, then by the definition of major, which implies gamma plus and gamma minus are measures on measurable space capital X comma curly b. So here there exist two measures, gamma plus and gamma minus. Okay, now we have to prove that this difference of gamma plus and gamma minus is nothing but gamma and they are mutually singular. Okay, first we will prove gamma is nothing but gamma plus minus gamma minus. Let E is belonging to curly b, it means E be any measurable set, then this E is nothing but E intersection X. Intersection X is nothing but E, but X is nothing but A union B, which is from Hahn decomposition theorem. E intersection A union B, where A and B are disjoint measurable sets. Therefore, this can be written as E intersection A union E intersection B. So E is nothing but E intersection A union E intersection B, but A and B are disjoint measurable sets. As A and B are disjoint measurable set, then this intersection E intersection A and E intersection B is again disjoint. Since E intersection A is a subset of A and E intersection B is a subset of B, which implies signed measure of E is equal to signed measure of E intersection A plus signed measure of E intersection B. Okay, which implies signed measure of this E, which is equal to signed measure of E intersection B, gamma plus is nothing but signed measure of E intersection A. Then by given definition, signed measure of E intersection A is nothing but gamma plus of E, and minus of gamma of E intersection B is nothing but the gamma minus of E. As here plus one, therefore this one is nothing but minus of gamma minus of E. Therefore, and which is true for any measurable set E, which implies actually gamma is nothing but gamma plus minus gamma minus. Okay, so this will be true for any measurable set E. Gamma is the difference of these two measures, gamma plus and gamma minus. Okay, now we have to check the condition of mutually singular measures, that is gamma 1 of equal to gamma 2 of B will be equal to 0. Since here we get two measures, gamma plus and gamma minus, whose difference is gamma. Okay, now consider or let gamma plus of B is equal to gamma plus of B. By definition, it is nothing but gamma of B intersection E. But as A and B are two disjoint set, then it is nothing but gamma of 5, and gamma of 5 will be equal to 0. Therefore, gamma plus of B equal to 0, and gamma minus of A is equal to minus of gamma of A intersection B, which is from given definition. Again, it is a 5, which is equal to 0. So here, gamma plus of B equal to gamma minus of A equal to 0, which implies gamma plus and gamma minus are mutually singular measures. Okay, since it holds the condition for mutually singular measures, any two measures are said to be mutually singular if there exists a positive set A and negative set B such that capital X is equal to A union B and A intersection B equal to 5, and gamma 1 of A equal to gamma 2 of B equal to 0. As here gamma plus of B equal to gamma minus of A equal to 0, then by the definition of mutually singular measures, these two measures are mutually singular measures. आतापर्यंत कोणाला काही डाऊट?
No, sir.
Okay, पण आता इथे म्युच्युअली सिंग्युलर मेजर तर मिळाले, पण डेफिनेशन जी म्युच्युअली सिंग्युलरची होती तिथे आपण ए आणि बी जे हार्ड डिकम्पोजिशन साठी जे पॉझिटिव्ह सेट आणि निगेटिव्ह सेट घेतला होता त्याच्यावर काही रिस्ट्रिक्शन घेतली नव्हती ना. आणखीन आपण प्रूव्ह ही केलंय हार्ड डिकम्पोजिशन हे युनिक नाहीये. मग जर या विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू या पॉझिटिव्ह सेट आणि निगेटिव्ह सेट साठी जर ही म्युच्युअली सिंग्युलर जर असतील तर मे बी चेंज होऊ शकतील ना दुसऱ्या म्युच्युअली सिंग्युलर साठी. हे प्रॉपर्टी सॅटिस्फाय करतील का नाही मला माहित नाही. त्यासाठी तुम्हाला परत प्रूव्ह करावं लागेल की जरी तुम्ही हार्ड डिकम्पोजिशन जर चेंज केला तरी या फंक्शनवर काही फरक पडत नाही हे आपल्याला दाखवावं लागेल. ॲज वी नो दॅट हार्ड डिकम्पोजिशन इज युनिक, सॉरी नीड नॉट बी युनिक, कंपोजिशन नीड नॉट बी युनिक. हे काय करायचं कळालं ना, कारण आपण इथं प्रूव्ह काय केलं होतं विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू पॉझिटिव्ह सेट ए आणि विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू निगेटिव्ह सेट बी साठी प्रूव्ह केलं ना. हे गॅमा प्लस आणि गॅमा मायनस हे म्युच्युअल सिंग्युलर मेजर आहे. हे आर्बिट्ररी घेतलं होतं आपण पॉझिटिव्ह सेट ए आणि निगेटिव्ह सेट बी, कारण हा डिकम्पोजिशन मध्ये फक्त एक जर साइडेड मेजर गॅमा असेल तर हा डिकम्पोजिशन मिळतो. तो आर्बिट्ररी मी ए बी चूज केला. ए बी साठी जरी हे गॅमा प्लस आणि गॅमा मायनस जर म्युच्युअली सिंग्युलर असतील तर मी जर हा डिकम्पोजिशन जर चेंज केला तर त्या म्युच्युअली सिंग्युलरनेसवर काय फरक पडतो का नाही हे आपल्याला चेक करायचं आहे. ठीक आहे. And for that we will change this positive set and negative set. So and here we have to show that there is no effect of Hahn decomposition or choice of Hahn decomposition, effect of choice of Hahn decomposition on the measures gamma plus and gamma minus. That is we have to prove, and for that we will take one another Hahn decomposition. Let A1 B1 be another Hahn decomposition of X, another Hahn decomposition of X. Okay, now let E belonging to curly B be any measurable set. Now define same functions, okay, which implies gamma plus of E is nothing but gamma of E intersection A1. Since here we have just changed the Hahn decomposition, and gamma minus of E is nothing but gamma minus of gamma of E intersection B1, which is from the new Hahn decomposition. Okay. Now consider a set E intersection A minus A1, which is actually nothing but E intersection A intersection A1 complement, which is nothing but E intersection A1 complement. A1 is positive set, its complement will be B1, which is we have proved in Hahn decomposition theorem. Therefore this one is actually nothing but the E intersection A intersection B1. So from that we say that E intersection A minus A1 is a subset of A and it is also a subset of B1. E intersection A minus A1 is subset of B1 also. But we know that A is a positive set and B1 is a negative set, which implies signed measure of E intersection A minus A1 will be greater or equal by 0, and signed measure of E intersection A minus A1 is less equal by 0, and from that to signed measure of this E intersection A minus A1 must be equal to 0. Okay, this will be okay. Now let E intersection A union A1 can be written as, sorry, E intersection A union A1 is nothing but E intersection A minus A1 union A1. Okay, so this E intersection A union A1 can be written as E intersection A minus A1 union A1. Let us check whether this A minus A1 union A1 is nothing but A union A1 or not. Okay, A minus A1 union A1. Okay, A minus A1, it is actually nothing but A intersection A1 complement union A1. So it is nothing but A union A1 intersection A1 complement union A1. So this one is nothing but A intersection sorry, A union A1 intersection of our universal set U sum. Okay, so universal set intersection this subset will be this subset only, A union A1. Therefore A union A1 can be written as A minus A1 union A1. Okay, so this one is nothing but E intersection. Now A minus A1 and A1 are two disjoint set. Since this set contains there is no element of A1, union A1 is nothing and A1 is disjoint from this one, which implies we can write this one as E intersection A minus A1 union E intersection A1. Okay, and which is nothing but E intersection A union A1, which implies signed measure of E intersection A union A1 is nothing but signed measure of E intersection A minus A1 plus signed measure of E intersection A1, since these two sets are disjoint. But we have proved signed measure of E intersection A minus A1 will be equal to 0, which implies signed measure of E intersection A union A1 is nothing but signed measure of E intersection A1, since measure of this will be equal to 0. Okay, so take this one as a 1. Now here we have proved for this one, that is E intersection A union A1. There is a symmetry in A and A1, since actually here we have taken union. Therefore instead of this A union A1 we will take A1 union A. Then this set can be written as, similarly, E intersection A union A1 can be written as E intersection A1 minus A union A, which is again a union A1. Check again, which is nothing but A1 minus A. It means it is complement. Union complement of this one. Union E, which is nothing but A1 union A. Intersection of A complement union A. Again A complement union A is some universal set X U, and this A1 union A. And A1 union A intersection universal set will be A1 union A. So similarly here we get this one. Again by solving this one is nothing but signed measure of E intersection A union A1 will get signed measure of E intersection A. Okay, since this one is nothing but signed measure of E, first we will write this one as E intersection A1 minus A union intersection E intersection A. But these are two disjoint set. Then signed measure of this one plus signed measure of this one. Signed measure of this one we have already proved it will be equal to 0. Therefore we get signed measure of E intersection A union A1 is nothing but signed measure of E intersection A. So here from this first one and second one, as LHS will be equal, then RHS must be equal. So which implies signed measure of E intersection A1 is nothing but the signed measure of E intersection A. And similarly we can prove signed measure of E intersection B1 is nothing but the signed measure of E intersection B. जरी तुम्ही चेंज केले, हा डिकम्पोजिशन जरी तुम्ही चेंज केला, A1 आणि B1 हा डिकम्पोजिशन जरी गेला तरी साइंड मेजर ऑफ E इंटरसेक्शन A1 हाच माझा साइंड मेजर ऑफ E इंटरसेक्शन A मला मिळाला. जर हेच जर मिळत असेल तर माझ्या दिलेल्या हा डिकम्पोजिशनला जरी मी चेंज केलो तरी गॅमा प्लस आणि गॅमा मायनसच्या व्हॅल्यूवर काही चेंज होणार नाही, कारण हे म्हणजेच काय आहे, गॅमा प्लस आहे आणि हे म्हणजेच गॅमा मायनस आहे. जरी आपण हा डिकम्पोजिशन वेगवेगळे जरी घेतलं तरी गॅमा E इंटरसेक्शन A1 कुणाला इक्वल येतो, गॅमा E इंटरसेक्शन A ला, आणि हेच माझं गॅमा प्लस ऑफ E आहे. याचा अर्थ जर आपण हा डिकम्पोजिशन चेंज केलो तर जे आपण डिफाइन केलेले फंक्शन आहेत गॅमा प्लस आणि गॅमा मायनस त्या दोन्हीवर काही फरक पडत. ठीक आहे, ठीक आहे का नाही?
Yes, sir.
It shows that there is no effect of choice of Hahn decomposition on the functions gamma plus and gamma minus. On gamma plus and gamma minus. सो इथपर्यंत प्रूव्ह झालं. काय स्टेटमेंटमध्ये काय प्रूव्ह करायचं होतं आपल्याला, एक जर साइंड मेजर दिला असेल तर दोन म्युच्युअली सिंग्युलर मेजर मिळतात ज्यांचा डिफरन्स आम्हाला गॅमा मिळतो. आतापर्यंत काय काय प्रूव्ह केलं मग आपण, सुरुवातीला हे दोघं मेजर आहे ते प्रूव्ह केलं. मेजर नंतर असं एक साइंड मेजर गॅमाला यांच्या दोघांच्या डिफरन्स मध्ये लिहिता येतं हेही प्रूव्ह केलं. त्याच्यानंतर ते म्युच्युअली सिंग्युलर मेजर आहेत हेही आपण प्रूव्ह केले, कारण गॅमा प्लस ऑफ बी इक्वल टू गॅमा मायनस ऑफ बी इक्वल टू 0 हे प्रूव्ह केलं आपण. त्यानंतर आणि डिकम्पोजिशन चेंज केलं तरी दिलेल्या फंक्शनवर काही फरक पडत नाही, हे आपण आतापर्यंत इतकं प्रूव्ह केलेलं आहे. आता फक्त राहिलं काय आपलं, तसे देर इज ओनली वन सच पेअर ऑफ म्युच्युअली सिंग्युलर मेजर्स. ते युनिकनेस प्रूव्ह करायचे राहील. ओके, वी विल प्रूव्ह इट्स युनिकनेस. For uniqueness, we will consider another pair of mutually singular measures, that is gamma 1 and gamma 2, and after that we will prove gamma 1 is nothing but the gamma plus and gamma 2 is nothing but the gamma minus. Okay, let us consider, let gamma 1 and gamma 2 be another pair of measures such that gamma is nothing but difference of these two measures and they are mutually singular. That is gamma 1 is mutually singular to gamma 2. Okay, and let a1 b1 be the Hahn decomposition of x. Hahn decomposition of x. Okay, now we will take, let some e is belonging to curly b, which implies gamma 1 of e is nothing but gamma of e intersection a1 and gamma 2 of e is nothing but minus of gamma of e intersection b1, which is from the definition of this mutually singular measures gamma 1 and gamma 2. Since here we have considered gamma 1 and gamma 2 be a pair of mutually singular measures which holds these conditions. Okay, now here we get gamma 1 of e is nothing but gamma of e intersection a1. But previously we have proved that gamma of e intersection a1 is nothing but the gamma of e intersection e. So which is nothing but the gamma of e intersection e. And gamma of e intersection b1 is nothing but the gamma of e intersection b. It implies minus of gamma of e intersection b1 is nothing but minus of gamma of e intersection b. But from given definition, gamma of e intersection a is nothing but the gamma plus of e, and gamma minus of gamma of e intersection b is nothing but the gamma minus of e. So here we get gamma 1 of e is nothing but the gamma plus of e, and gamma minus of e is nothing but the, sorry, gamma 2 of e is nothing but the gamma minus of e for any e belonging to curly b. For any e belonging to curly b, which implies gamma 1 is nothing but the gamma plus and gamma 2 is nothing but the gamma minus. And this shows that there is a unique pair of gamma plus and gamma minus of mutually singular measures such that gamma is nothing but gamma plus minus gamma minus. Okay, दुसरी जरी घेतलं तरी ते इक्वल कोणाला येते, त्यातला पहिला हा गॅमा प्लसला इक्वल आला, दुसरा गॅमा मायनसला येतात. असं कोणतेही आर्बिट्ररी जरी तुम्ही आपण एक पेअर घेतलं तरी ते गॅमा प्लस आणि गॅमा मायनसलाच इक्वल येणार आहे. याच्यावरून आपण म्हणू शकतो की सच अ पेअर विल बी युनिक. ओके, अँड हे इज द रिक्वायर्ड रिझल्ट. कोणाला काही डाऊट?
No, sir.